Now notice, I don't normally cover material this fast, but this should be review. Hopefully, now you might have trouble with it, but it should be review. Now subtracting integers, or subtracting any number, this means do the opposite of add or take away. So you could write it this way, add the opposite. Now normally they don't want you to do that, they want you to do it in your brain because they don't like extra symbols on the page. But 6 plus a negative 10, 10 is bigger, so the answer is negative. And then you just take 6 away from 10, which is 4. So, now, opposite of taking away is adding. So they always have the rule, if you have two negatives in a row, it's positive because you're taking away the negative, which taking away the negative is actually positive, adding. So 6 plus 10 is 16. So minus 4, minus a minus would be plus. So 6 is bigger than 4. So this would be a positive because 6 is bigger than 4 and 4 is negative, but 6 is positive. So this would be 2. Now, I owe 10, I owe 4 more. So they're both the same sign. Remember when they're the same sign and you're adding or adding, you keep it that sign and just add the numbers. So negative 3 minus a minus, you're taking away the negative or doing the opposite of taking away. So you're adding, 6 is bigger, so it would be 3. Positive because 6 is bigger. 8 minus a negative 3 would be 8 plus 3. Minus a minus, so it'd be 11. So there's 4 problems. Freeze the video, do them, and then turn it back on to watch me do them. Okay. So minus a minus, we're doing the opposite of taking away, so that's plus, and that's 16. I owe 8, I owe 6 more, so the answer is negative. You still owe, and 8 plus 6 is 14. Again, you owe, so it's minus 14. And minus is a plus, so it's minus 4, minus 6, plus 10. Minus 4, minus 6, you owe both times, so it's minus 10. So the answer is 0. Now we're going to move on to multiply. Like I said, in a couple chapters, don't panic. I don't normally do 2 sections at a time, but this should be review. Now, multiplying, dividing integers, every time you have a negative, it means go on the other side of 0. So if I have the number 2, it's here. But if I say the opposite of 2, it means go over here on the other side of 0. If I say opposite of 2, it means go back over. But the opposite of negative 2 means go back over. Meow. So what happens is every time you have a negative number of, let me change that. Every time you have an odd number of negative signs, you land up on the negative side of 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you have even, you go there and come back. 1, 2, 3, 4. So an odd number of negatives, that's a number symbol of negatives. Answer's negative when you're multiplying or dividing. And if you have an even number of negatives, the answer is positive. So if I say what's negative 2 times negative 3 times negative 1, there's 2 steps. Count the number of negatives. 1, 2, 3. That's an odd number. Remember, an even number is divisible by 2. So the answer is negative. So then you would go 2 times 3 is 6 times 1 is 6. So if I said what's negative 6 divided by negative 3, first thing you do is count the number of negatives. Negative divided by negative is 2 negatives. That's even. So the answer is positive, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So count the number of negatives and then do the operation is what I'm trying to say. So do this one for me. Negative 4 times negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 times 1. Figure that out for me. So first, 1, 2, 3, 4. No negatives, so 4, that's even, so the answer is positive. Then 4 times 1 is 4, times 1 is 4, times 1 is 4, times 1 is 4, so the answer is positive 4. So do these two for me. Negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1. And what's negative 8 divided by positive 2? Do those two and then turn it off. So negative, 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 negative. That's 5 negatives. That's odd, so the answer is negative. 5 is an odd number. 3 times 2 is 6, times 1 times 1 times 1 is 6. 1 negative and a positive, but 1 negative, 1 is odd, so it's negative, and then 8 divided by 2 is 4. Hey, 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 life is good. So I think we're done with this one.